PSA Reloaded, man. It's your boy 3-Letter Man. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. You see where to follow your boy at. Hit the like button also. I appreciate that, man. Y'all see the title of this one, man. Let's talk about it, man. Remember, it feel like 10 years ago, we were all screaming Slaughterhouse and a conglomerate group. 4 dope MCs, you put them together. I think they Rascas, was it Corrupt and Killer Priest? I think they formed a unit at one time. That didn't really pop off. But when we heard Joell Ortiz, Joe Budden, Royce the 5'9", King Crooked joined together, it's like, okay, we got a Jersey, New York, Detroit, LA connection. You got New York, Jersey, Midwest, and the West Coast. You add all those in a gumbo pot of 4 dope rappers, put them in the lab, meeting of the minds, and let's see what we can get out of some music. Oh, I remember the YouTube era with the Slaughterhouse clips. Glass House. Let's not even get into that. Now, the conversation right now is Joe Budden on his podcast Joe. First of all, Just Blaze, a couple of days ago, first of all, shout out to Crooked Eye and Joell Ortiz. If y'all have not, go listen to their project, Prosper. Please go check that out. It's a very solid project, in my opinion. Shout out to those brothers right quick. But days after the album dropped, and I know Sparks spoke about this on the podcast, that maybe the inspiration why Just Blaze decided to leak these records because RIP once again to Mark 45 King, ill producer, did Hard Knock Life, beat for Jay-Z, and a plethora of other things, right? So maybe the inspiration of Just Blaze deciding to leak these records could have been that. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but whatever. But it's interesting when Just Blaze released these records. Now, the hip-hop fan in us, the people who are looking forward to hearing Slaughterhouse, Glass House Project, we want to hear the records. I don't know about y'all. I want to hear those records. Regardless of anything, outdated bars and I still want to hear the record. I just want to hear how it sounds. You see what I'm saying? So, obviously, when you hear Joe Budden talk about Slaughterhouse, let's be honest, man. The way they broke up, I didn't like the fact that, the way it went down. I blame some of the fans. So I got to be honest. I blame some of y'all fans also, because some of y'all picking sides. Oh, I'm going to run with Joe and Royce. I'm going to run with Cook. It was playing divide and conquer. And the hip-hop fan base did that. A lot of years did that. A lot of years. Me didn't do that. I'm still cool with Joe Budden. I just had Royce the 5'9" on there. Me and Cook and Joell is cool. All right? So I ain't never played divide and conquer between them people and stuff like that. I'm cool with Joe. I'm not going to diss Crook. And I'm not doing none of that. None of that. In fact, I was a fan that wish they were still, if there's no music together, let's not take pop shots and do that, right? Now, I remember when the rise and fall of Slaughterhouse, when Joell and Crooked Eye was dropping a project, right? My thing was this. Why should Joell Ortiz and Crooked Eye start making music because other members didn't want to make music, right? And I'm not trying to be the brain of Joell and Crooked Eye, but I'm just going common sense here. Okay, it's one thing that Joe doesn't want to rap, right? Why doesn't Royce want to rap? Royce is still rapping. Royce still dropping projects, Allegory, this, that, and the third, making beats. You know what I'm saying? Why doing verses on Ransom Project? Like, why is he not willing to be a 3-man group? Because I would have still loved to see Royce, Crook, and Joell rap. Because Joe Budden, let's be honest, man. The days of me screaming for Joe Budden to do music, I'm done with that. That's why you've heard, and it's been a hot minute since I even said, Joe, I wanted some music from Joe Budden. Because I think he's done with hip-hop. I think he's much more happier doing a podcast. Don't got to really go through when you get to a certain age, man, 40 years of age, do you really still have the desire to make music? And I think Joe has lost the desire to make music. I don't even think Joe Budden likes hip hop. Real talk, I don't think he listens to hip hop at all. I think he listens to Sade or some, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of vibe he be on. It seemed like. But the fact that he's trying to separate himself from the Slaughterhouse brand when he made that comment spoke volumes. Really spoke volumes in me. Right? Like I said, I do want to hear the songs of Glass House, man. Park said it himself on the podcast. We had Just Blaze, Ill Mind, Justice League, A-Rap Music. That's some dope producers to have on a project that they were dropping. But then I heard Joe talk about also that, you know, when he wanted the project to come out, it didn't come out. So why bring it out now? And I understand. I'm playing both sides of the fence. The fan in me is like, Joe, man, stop being a miserable ass nigga, man. But on the other side, it's like, all right, bro, I kind of understand maybe the way he feels a little bit in the sense of, especially Just Blaze, you're not calling nobody and reaching out to ask them, do you mind if I did that, Just? That was kind of wild, Just. I feel you should have, you could have done your due diligence and hit up Joe, and hit up Crook, and hit up Joel, and hit up Royce, the 4 members of Slaughterhouse, and say how you feel about me dropping these records. Do you feel some type of way? Because obviously Joe Budden feels some type of way. He's saying that Royce probably feels the same way also. Even though Royce is not as vocal as Joe is pertaining to Slaughterhouse, right? Joe said he's totally against Just Blaze putting out songs and pre-recorded songs that's been over 10 years ago. And like I said, I wonder how Joel and Crook feels about that. You know what I mean? Just, and I'm not going to sit there and lie to you and say I'm not going to go with, well, I'm not going to go there. I just know a lot. I know stuff, but I'm not going to go there, right? I don't do that. Now, could it have been Just Blaze, you know, you're listening to music, whether you're in the studio, the lab, in the car, wherever, in the whip or whatever, and he's listening to Slaughterhouse Glass House Project, and he's like, man, this joint song, it is, you know, bopping his head probably to a joint and everything like that. And then he just hit send, yo, y'all gotta hear this, y'all gotta hear this. And he might have got overzealous, he might have got a little crazy. You feel me? You want people to hear the songs that you like. I do that a lot on Twitter. I put out songs that I like a lot. You want, you know, and he knew it would cause an uproar. And Just Blaze, one thing, you have to know it would cause uproar when you got people that want to hear that project. You know? Joe comes off like he wants people to forget about his allegiance with Slaughterhouse. It's almost like when 50 was, a couple of years ago, he was trying to act like G-Unit never married it. 50, we was never letting you get off that. Now, obviously, G-Unit, Slaughterhouse, a little different and everything. G-Unit is more of a conglomerate group. I get all that. But when 50 was trying to act like, oh, G-Unit was never here, we was never letting 50, fam, he was not going to rob us of the G-Unit era, 50. We wasn't going to allow you to do that, fam. Not at all. Archie Bunker worked for you, 50, for even trying to attempt some ish like that, brother. You know? And Joe said he doesn't want to hear none of the old Joe Budden ish. You know? But the leaks I heard, that we all heard on the internet, they weren't bad to me. Am I bugging? I like the songs I heard, a couple of joints I heard. The verse with Joel Ortiz talking about his mom dukes and diabetes, insulin, that's that outdated verse. That verse could, any era of of eras, that song could have been played in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. When you talk about your mom and her going through a situation. Music like that and verses like that never die. It's almost like when Slaughterhouse did Truth the Truth. That's when I'm listening to the song. He's giving me Truth the Truth vibes. And Joe, the songs I heard, the verse, it wasn't bad at all, to be honest. You feel me? So, and then Ice from the Joe Budden podcast. Shout out to Ice. I did an interview with Ice. If you guys have not checked that out, please check that out on my channel. He said something that was very interesting also. He said he likes when artists are alive to hear the music instead of when they pass away, then we start playing unleaked songs. And that's true. Do we really need something, God forbid, not going to wait nothing to happen to Royce, that we were Slaughterhouse members, for one of his brothers' demise to leak records and then West, like, I mean, I don't know, man. Using the word I hated it. Joe used the word I hated it. You know, he doesn't want anybody to use old vocals. He's dissing himself from the brand. That, like I said, that spoke volumes. And Joe said, I'm distancing myself from the brand, because that tells me that, respectfully, Joe and Royce did not like the Rise and Fall of Slaughterhouse project. Let's be honest. They didn't like that. I'm pretty sure they didn't like to hear what was certain things that was being said on certain songs on that project. Let's be honest. And I don't know if Joe is still holding on to that, where he's like, it's up forever. Like, you know, it's up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. And then Joe said that if the shoe's on the other foot and Just Blaze, and somebody would leak this Just Blaze song and he didn't know about it, he'd be in his feelings also. So Joe, Just Blaze, that is true. You probably would be in your feelings also if the shoe's on the other foot. So I don't know, man. It's crazy, man. Leave comments on the bottom, man. Tell me what y'all think about Joe Budden feeling some type of way about Just Blaze leaking out records. Did y'all want to hear more records? Tell me how y'all feel, man. It's your boy 3.